So they're coming in with just over 2 circuits of the course ahead of them. Last year's winner Step Back on the inside in the cheek pieces. They set off. They're off over 3 miles and 5 furlongs for the Bet365 Gold Cup. Step Back on the far side of the Young Master. Present Man. West approaching the firing line in the orange jacket as they jumped the first fence. Beware the Bear is a few lengths off the main body of the field in these very early stages as they go on towards an open ditch. So Step Back on the far side. Oh, a blunder from the Young Master. Oh, he very nearly unseated Sam Whaley-Cohen there, who's now got to get his left stirrup iron back. But a serious blunder from the 2016 winner, who remains in touch as they pass the judge. 2 circuits to go. Step Back on the inside of Present Man. Joe Farrell is third, followed by West Approach. Rock the Casbah out wide in the shades of blue, wide of the Young Master and Rolling Dillon. Then Le Rev, followed by Give Me a Copper, Talk is Cheap, and then Just a Sting as they make this right-hand turn. Further back in the field, Rathlin Rose on the outside, Vita Du Rots on the inside, Prime Venture and Beware the Bear are the back pair, running downhill towards the third fence, and Step Back out in front under Nico de Boinville by a couple of lengths to Bryony Frost on Present Man. Joe Farrell on the outside of West Approach, there followed by Rolling Dillon and the Young Master. Talk is Cheap then, racing between Give Me a Copper and Le Rev, with Rock the Casbah on the outside under champion jockey Richard Johnson. And they're followed further back by Vita Du Rock and Rathlin Rose, Just a Sting, Prime Venture and Beware the Bear. Over the first in the back straight. And they all stream over pretty fluently onto another plain fence. Step Back leading the way by a length to Present Man. Joe Farrell over in third. West Approach in fourth from the Young Master. And then Rolling Dillon on the inside at an open ditch. Good jump from Rock the Casbah out wide there. Le Rev and Talk is Cheap close up. A little worse than midfield. Give Me a Copper from Rathlin Rose and Vita Du Rock. 3 lengths away, Prime Venture and Just a Sting. And Beware a Bear, Beware the Bear is not really travelling at all at the moment and losing ground at the back of the field. The top weight being pushed along by Jerry McGrath. Onto the railway fences. Step Back leading the way. Step Back rises first just ahead of Present Man. A beautiful jump from Present Man. Rock the Casbah on the outside of the Young Master, and then Joe Farrell right up the inside in the maroon and white jacket. Le Rev is close up as well. Then West Approach and Talk is Cheap. Rolling Dillon towards the inner as they clear the last in the back straight. The grey Vita Du Rock. Then Rathlin Rose and Give Me a Copper. Prime Venture and Just a Sting and Beware the Bear remains at the rear of the field and some way adrift now. Beware the Bear. The Cheltenham Festival winner is not firing at the moment as they run towards the pond fence for the first time. Step Back on the inside of Present Man. Rock the Casbah, last year's runner-up, right there on the outer, followed by the Young Master. Joe Farrell towards the inside of the orange-jacketed West Approach. Le Rev, and then Talk is Cheap and the black and white checks Yellow Cap as they jump the pond fence now. Step Back ahead of Present Man. And all landing safely and now approaching a right-hand turn. Step Back, Present Man, Rock the Casbah. In the noseband behind them, Yellow Jacket, the Young Master, who made that dreadful blunder on the first circuit. Followed by Joe Farrell up the inner, followed up the inside by Rolling Dillon. West Approach, Le Rev, Talk is Cheap is out wide. They're followed by Rathlin Rose and Give Me a Copper. And then further back to Prime Venture at this open ditch once again. And Le Rev makes a mistake there, more of a stumble on landing. Slightly interferes with Rathlin Rose, and Beware the Bear is still about 6 or 8 lengths behind the nearest horse. The rest of the field very well grouped with a circuit left to go, and Step Back continues to lead the way to Present Man. The Young Master on the outside, almost a line of 3. Joe Farrell back on the inner of West Approach, and then Talk is Cheap and Rock the Casbah. They're followed up the inner by Rolling Dillon from Give Me a Copper, Le Rev and Vita Du Rock. 4 horses wide into this right-hand turn. Just a Sting still held up towards the back with Rathlin Rose, and then Prime Venture, and still being driven along is Beware the Bear. Down the hill they go towards the next plain fence. This is number 15 of the 24 in the Bet365 Gold Cup, and heading down towards it. Step Back is going to rise just ahead of the Young Master. Step Back, the Young Master. Present Man, Joe Farrell. Talk is Cheap, making good progress, taking closer order. Talk is Cheap as they now turn right-handed into the back. The well-supported West Approach is in 5th place, just ahead of Joe Farrell. Then Le Rev as they now arrive at the first of the 7 fences in the back straight. Step Back, joined by the Young Master over that one. They're getting strung out. Rock the Casbah is one that has completely lost his position, and Beware the Bear has been pulled up finally. Joe Farrell, a slight mistake at that one. Looks like Rock the Casbah will be pulled up, jumping an open ditch. The Young Master on the outside of Step Back, and they're about 4 or 5 lengths clear of Present Man, I should say, on the inside of Talk is Cheap, and then West Approach, and now they're halfway down the back straight. After West Approach, Rathlin Rose and Le Rev trying to make ground. Bad blunder there from Joe Farrell, who looks like being pulled up. Rolling Dylan and Give Me a Copper are next. They're strung out. Just a Sting is well beaten from Prime Venture and Vita to Rock over the first of the railway fences, and the Young Master, the 2016 winner, and Sam Whaley-Cohen just ahead of last year's winner Step Back. They are 3 or 4 lengths clear of Talk is Cheap in 3rd. Over the last in the back straight, they're landing together, followed by Talk is Cheap. Rathlin Rose into 4th, then Present Man and West Approach as they run into the right-hand turn now, and it's the Young Master that holds the advantage over Step Back, who's ridden along in 2nd. Talk is Cheap still looking dangerous in 3rd place, quietly ridden by Wayne Hutchinson. Rathlin Rose is making ground from the back under Tom Scudamore. Then West Approach from Present Man, and after these Give Me a Copper staying on from Le Rev and Rolling Dylan. Heading down towards the 3rd last, and the Young Master leads going into it from Step Back in 2nd place. The Young Master, Step Back, Talk is Cheap now going up the inside. Oh, Wayne Hutchinson looking round for dangers there on Talk is Cheap. He's looking confident, and Sam Whaley-Cohen is hard at work on the leader. Here's 2 out. The Young Master from Talk is Cheap. The Young Master by 2 lengths to Talk is Cheap. Then Step Back in 3rd. Talk is Cheap. It just looks a matter of pressing the button. The Young Master, is he a sitting duck? They arrive at the final fence. The Young Master and Talk is Cheap. Good jump from Talk is Cheap, and he's away. Talk is Cheap from the Young Master and Step Back, and the young horse is going to roar up the hill here. The 7-year-old Talk is Cheap galloping right away and clears away from the Young Master to win the Bet365 Gold Cup. Wayne Hutchinson saluting the crowd. A lovely confident ride. The Young Master 2nd, Step Back in 3rd, and Give Me a Copper in 4th.